This week's Torah portion is called Korach. And Korach was a pretty bad guy. He tried to lead a rebellion against Moses and Aaron and usurp the priesthood from Aaron to become high priest himself. Now, it says in Proverbs to let the name of the wicked rot. And the Talmud comments on this that mold should grow upon their names, but we don't use their names. So this obviously brings about the question, why would the Torah eternalize the name of Korach, who's such a bad guy and who's so wicked, and he didn't even do repentance? It's not like you could say, oh, later he repented and became good. No, that's not what happened. So why would he eternalize his name by naming the Torah portion after Korach? It doesn't seem to make sense. Now, the truth is that while Korach's actions were pretty bad, he actually had an intent and a desire, which is something that everyone should emulate. He wanted to be the high priest. Now, you might say, okay, but Aaron's the high priest. He can't be. So how is that a good desire? Well, the Rambam writes that any type of person, anyone, whose spirit inspires him, and he resolves in his mind to set himself apart from physicality and stand before God as his minister, who work for him, to know God, and who goes in a morally upright manner, following this intent, this God-given disposition, and he discards all concerns of that people are normally occupied with, then he will attain the holiness of the Holy of Holies, meaning that he'll attain a spiritual level of a high priest of sorts. So Korach wasn't corrupt in his ideology, just in the way he implemented it. His desire to be high priest is a pretty good desire. Even Moses says, as Rashi comments, and the Talmud says that even Moses said, I also want that. I would love to be high priest. But the way that he went about it, by trying to rise up and make a rebellion against Moses instead of following him, that's where he went wrong. So it is appropriate that the Torah portion is called Korach, because it's his spiritual desire that's something that we should all learn from and emulate. But we see that most of the Torah portion speaks of the negative things about Korach, right? All his mistakes that he did, and it doesn't talk about his good intentions. So much so that, the Torah even tells us, don't be like Korach and his rebellious group over there. So what's the positive message that we can take, not just from his intentions, but is there any positive message that we can take from his actual sin and punishment? So the truth is that even his downfall has an uplifting message for us. Because if you ponder the significance that, by placing us in a world with free choice, where we can act as wise and good and holy as we want, or the opposite, God forbid, God is giving us the greatest possible gift to strive for holiness, to be a high priest by utilizing our own talents and our own skills for good on our own, from our own free choice. So from Korach's well-meaning failure, we can learn two very important lessons. One, to emulate those good intentions. And two, that the possibility of real failure, which Korach suffered, means that freedom of choice is totally in our hands. And that real success is something that's available to all of us. So pick yourself up by your bootstraps, as it were, and go out there and use your free will to make a positive impact on the world and make the world a better place. Shabbat Shalom.